Garcia in for Jillian, joined in studio by Ann Coulter, author of E Pluribus Awesome. In Trump We Trust. I guess I flipped it there, didn't I?
Yes, you did. It's In Trump We Trust.
E Pluribus Awesome.
Jeez, John.
Yes. There we go.
And by the way, it's not, it was the number 3 most purchased hardcover in the country the week it came out, number 5 the next week. So it's selling just fine, but people shouldn't think this is just some stupid campaign book, like it's written by a campaign consultant. There's a lot of great new information. You should know what my books are like. They're fantastic.
I can agree.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot
always
of new
read your books on
information.
planes.
Oh, that's good. So
Yeah.
people see you reading them?
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny, isn't it? And you got lots of new, interesting information.
That's right. And they're not terribly, I mean, it's not like 600 pages where, you
Right,
can't
this is
finish
a
it.
shorter one, yeah.
Yeah, so if you go to the East Coast and back, you can finish the book.
Yeah, it's fun, and you can read it on the beach. Oh, I guess it's not really beach weather anymore.
No, not right now. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the whole Miss Universe controversy.
Excellent.
Because I think the Trump campaign is misplaying this. They're saying now there was a memo that was leaked where the campaign is saying, in response, they want their surrogates to say that Jennifer Flowers and Paula Jones and Juanita Broderick were mistreated by the Clintons, so everyone mistreats women, it's no big deal. That's a huge mistake.
Yep.
This woman is a criminal. This woman went on CNN's Anderson
nuts.
Cooper. She's completely bat-bleep crazy. She went on CNN and she essentially admitted to driving the getaway car to an attempted assassination.
Right.
She admitted to essentially threatening to kill a judge that she didn't like.
By the way, she makes Sofia Vergara sound like the Queen of England because I can barely understand anything she says.
No, she doesn't speak English, so our immigration policies are working fantastically well. What is she going to do in this country now? She's not going to model or be an actress. How does she become a citizen? She doesn't speak English. She's credibly accused, and it's not just that she almost admitted to it. I mean, on being the getaway car driver, there are a lot of witnesses who said she was the getaway car driver, and you have to understand, beauty contests are huge in Venezuela. She is a national celebrity in Venezuela. She was when this happened. Lots of people said, I saw her driving the car. She gave 2 different excuses about where she was. It was her boyfriend who was trying an attempted murder at a woman's funeral. He was and she drove the getaway car. She had 2 different excuses for where she was. She said she was sick, and her lawyer said she was out of the country. So, raising some credibility issues. But also, it's like, when people see her, you can say, well, how do you know it was her? Do you know her personally? Well, no, but it's like identifying Kim Kardashian in this country. Everyone knows what she looks like. She's not going to be able to sneak under.
A saint girl?
What was that?
She said, I'm not a saint girl.
I'm not a saint girl. Oh, yes, that was her defense. I mean, this brings up our immigration policies. How is it that she becomes a citizen? They're not even looking for prior crimes. Oh, yeah, and she had an anchor baby in Miami, and the father is listed on the birth certificate, and according to Mexican newspapers, is this huge drug lord. The State Department wait, who was the head of the State Department again? I'm thinking, oh, that's right, Hillary Clinton. They had a $2 million bounty on her baby daddy's head. He's a huge drug dealer. How does she become a citizen? And point B, miscompetence, Hillary Clinton. They didn't even go to her Wikipedia page before this big rollout?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask both of you, because I've heard that criticism of why did Hillary even trot this woman out there? But your colleague, Ana Navarro, has been saying that this is all they're talking about on Spanish language media. Do you think that it was strategy for Hillary? Basically, nobody's talking about her. Everyone's talking about this woman and Donald Trump. I mean, do you think that's part of the strategy?
I think they didn't look. I think they did not do any background search. They've gotten Democrats, and Hillary in particular, have gotten so lazy, knowing that the media is part of their campaign, that they can do anything. I mean, if Trump had put out a name like this as a big Trump supporter, and it turned out that the person had been credibly accused. Oh, and as for threatening a judge's life, that isn't idle rumor. The judge went on national TV in Venezuela and said she threatened to kill me. This was on TV. It's been reported by Univision, and by the way, her Wikipedia page has been wiped clean since the story broke yesterday. But you can see on my Twitter page, on Mickey Couse's Twitter page, you still have the AP articles, you still have the Univision articles. It's all out there. I think they're just lazy because they're used, and the media isn't talking about it. I mean, I was watching what was it, Brian Williams last night, and they're all they say about this woman rolled out, and I don't think Trump is on tape saying the Miss Piggy thing. If you see what he actually said, he was incredibly nice to her. If you go back and read the news at the time, which I did, all her sponsors were dumping her. She won the Miss Universe contest weighing 118 pounds. She gained 60 pounds, 60, not 16, 60 pounds. Kellogg's pulls out. Kellogg's at the time was being run by a Hillary supporter, by the way. They withdraw the sponsorships. All the news was, is she going to lose her crown? And Trump, because he's a gentleman, said no.
Let's not go that far.
I'll turn lemons into lemonade. And he invites her in, and that press conference, which I tweeted out, it's very short. I really recommend you go look at it. He's incredibly nice to her. She's smiling and giggling and giving the thumbs up. He says, look, she's been under a tremendous amount of pressure. She has to travel around the country. She has to travel around the world, being Miss Universe. When some people, when they're under stress, like me, they eat a lot, like Miss Universe, eat a lot. Some people eat nothing. He makes fun of some of the reporters and says, they're standing at the gym. He says, some of you could stand to take a few pounds off. And that's when Miss Venezuela applauds, gives the thumbs up. He talks about her being the most beautiful. When she won the contest, the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. He's an incredible gentleman. And just for my final point, I love this idea that the winner of a beauty contest turns around and says, I'm being evaluated for my looks. Come on, baby case. You didn't just win, the Fields Medal in mathematics. You won what is known as a beauty contest.
Why isn't Trump out there making these points? Because whenever he's interviewed about it, he just doubles down on the fact that she was fat and doesn't reference any of this stuff, which I think flips the story around, because this is damaging for Hillary. It's damaging for Hillary because
it's about immigration.
It validates every suspicion that people have about her, that she doesn't vet, that she's willing to give American citizenship to anyone, that people who are willing to break the law as long as it breaks to her advantage is perfectly fine with her. This highlights every single one of her vulnerabilities.
Yes.
This is the only thing that he should be talking about.
I agree, and how it relates to our immigration policy and the Democrats just wanting to bring people in who will vote for them, and it doesn't matter if this woman has nil employment prospects in this country, which she does not. What do they think she's going to do? What job does she have?
I told you, she's going to be a model for Lane Bryant.
Well, yeah, because I know a lot of your callers yesterday were, and I kind of tend to agree, by talking about this, we're missing other important issues that we could be hammering Hillary on, like her emails, like the fact that she's misled about so many different issues. What is the benefit of talking about this, or should we move on and just say, this woman just go
the way John talked about it is the right way. As I say in my column this week, Trump wins when he talks about issues. They win when they get him off talking about his issues, which is why he was winning the debate. When he was talking about trade and catching Hillary lying through her teeth, she called the Trans-Pacific Partnership the gold standard of trade deals. Well, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, obviously that's a big deal for Sanders voters. It's a big deal for me. It's a big deal for Trump voters. It will take, and he totally nailed her on NAFTA. TPP will take any jobs that haven't been sent to Mexico and send them to Asia. It's a huge, important issue. He was nailing her on it. I think he was nailing her when he talked about bringing safety and order back to the inner city, engaging in infrastructure projects, rebuilding the inner city, how she has done nothing for African Americans, nothing at all. She asks for the vote and then walks away. And her answer to, does she think policemen have implicit bias? I love that. It's such a Ta-Nehisi Coates word, implicit bias. Oh, great. We have an assistant sociology professor running for president. Her answer to that is, no, it's not just cops that are racist. All Americans are racist. Fantastic. That's great. So I like the way Philip says Trump should talk about it, which is to talk about what this says about our immigration policy. As long as he's talking about Muslims running around shooting up shopping malls. Oh, and that Muslim who shot up the shopping mall last week, turns out he had voted not once, 3 times, not a citizen. Muslim immigrant, not yet a citizen, voted 3 times. You have the Chelsea bombing. You have, of course, Orlando, San Bernardino. Can we talk about something that matters to the American people? Because Trump is going to be dead and buried in 20 or 30 years. I don't care what his position on the Iraq War was. I don't think voters care. I don't care what his taxes are. What we care about are the issues. He is crushing them. and I mean both political parties. This is the people against the elites, and the elites do not want Trump talking about policy. They baited him by getting him not to talk about his issues. If he uses Miss Universe, Miss Venezuela, to talk about our insane immigration policy, that is a total win for him.
And it's also funny, too, that whenever some Trump supporter goes out and says something stupid, the media acts like they're the Minister of Information. Right. This woman is a Trump, or not a Trump, but a Clinton a surrogate. She's out there.
Right.
She's been put out by the campaign, featured in ads, and she drove the getaway car for an attempted assassination, and attempted to threaten to assassinate a judge, and they get no blowback. Sometimes they'll do the story and not even mention that aspect of it.
That's right.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, right.
That was
Get with the
long,
program.
long time ago.
But that is not a point now.
There you go.
Yeah, unlike when he helped her lose weight and didn't take her crown away, which was also 20 years ago.
Do you think the story has legs? Do you think it's going to
Yes,
continue?
because it's hilarious. It's tabloidy, and true, they are not covering it on CNN, MSNBC. I don't even know about Fox. But wow, it is burning up the internet.
Yeah, every time I look online, there's something new about this woman.
Yeah.
How could they not have figured this out? They've
All
got
they
a
had to
huge
do was search
campaign.
the
They had to
Wikipedia
have
page.
known. I mean, they must have just taken a calculated risk with that.
I don't think so. I don't think they
It
checked.
just boggles my mind. 'Cause
You know what?
They have people that are paid to do research, and how do you miss
I know,
this?
but they're reporters at the Washington Post, and they may not have been given a heads up, although Cosmo was given a heads up, and The Guardian. I mean, this was a big rollout. They had plans, they had taken photos of this woman for The Guardian and for Cosmopolitan magazine 2 weeks earlier, before Hillary throws it in at the debate. This was a big rollout. It's kind of amazing that they didn't know.
And this was the best poster child for this
Right.
issue. I mean, they could have found probably somebody else.
She hit all of the, I mean, it's a woman, it's an Hispanic, and there was fat shaming, which appeals to the millennials. But I don't know, Alexis, you could be right, which is even more horrifying, that they did know and they thought it doesn't matter, the media will cover for us, because it is certainly true that the media is doing everything possible to cover for them.
And you know what? They fat shamed him too when his weight came out, when he released his physical.
Right.
All I heard on TV for 2 nights was that he was obese. And by the way, we still don't know what Hillary's weight is, and if he's obese, so is she. There's no question in my mind, because she's not that tall, and she's got to weigh $160, $170 at least.
You're right. Why don't we get the female candidates' weight?
When you're talking about boxers, you get the weight of both of them. We only have Trump's weight. We don't have her weight.
That's right.
I don't think we want her weight. I'm okay with not knowing that.
But they went after him. It was 2 straight days of fat jokes, and then they put those statues up of his naked body in
naked
cities all over the country, and it was kind of like an end-of-the-hour kicker story on every newscast.
It really, they need to make it all